Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday, August 14th. Former Edinburgh City Councilman Jorge Coach Salinas will plead guilty to a federal bribery charge. Attorney Renee Flores of Edinburgh, who represents Salinas, informed a federal judge about his client's decision back on August 2nd. Salinas planned to plead guilty to federal program bribery, which is punishable by up to 10 years in prison. With the case pending, Flores declined comment to Valley Central News. Earlier this week, the Goliad City Council unanimously approved a proposed property tax rate of about $1.48 per $100 valuation to keep the budget process on track. Mayor Brenda Moses noted that the city is trying to work out some overages in the general funds of $228,000, according to the Goliad Advance Guard. She said the deficit had been reduced somewhat by adjusting certain revenue estimates. New items already added to the budget include a splash pad project of $150,000 to the deficit, but could be supported by multiple grant opportunities. Revenue for the proposed budget stands at about $2.52 million compared to last year's $2.07 million, but final expenditures must still be aligned with income. The maintenance and operations portion of the proposed tax rate is 0.9957, while the interest and sinking fund rate is 0.5027. Eyes are still on Tropical Storm Erin in the Atlantic Ocean. As of 5 a.m. today, the system is moving west at 17 miles per hour with max sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. Forecast models remain in agreement that the storm will stay north of the Caribbean and turn north prior to reaching the Bahamas. This would allow Florida to avoid any direct impacts from the storm. The storm is expected to continue to intensify through the weekend, likely becoming the first major hurricane of 2025. But tropical weather is not always a bad thing, as a minor tropical disturbance expected to cross into the southwestern Gulf later today might bring some much-needed rain to the Rio Grande Valley. Bianca Garcia, lead meteorologist with the National Weather Service Brownsville RGV station, told myrgv.com the tropical wave had a low chance of developing and was expected to make landfall along Mexico's coast tomorrow when rain chances are highest. Chances of development over the next week are only slightly higher at 20%. Rain chances are expected to stick around Saturday before departing the area on Sunday. Garcia said it's about a 40 to 50% chance of rain for Cameron County tomorrow, with about 20 to 30% Friday night. It goes down to about 20% on Saturday, and those rain chances end on Saturday night. Rain chances are roughly the same for Hidalgo County. In state news, Texas Republicans are gearing up for a second special legislative session that'll begin tomorrow, right after the previous one. The move comes as many House Democrats remain out of the state in an effort to stall a vote on legislation redrawing Texas's congressional districts. Some of those Democratic lawmakers, including Representative Gene Wu of Houston, spoke to reporters in Chicago yesterday. As the Texas Newsroom's Blaze Gainey reports, they want to see the next special focus on flood relief first.
Technically, this special session could have lasted another week, but with House Democrats in Texas, the governor and chamber leaders have chosen to wrap up on Friday and instantly start a new special session. Governor Greg Abbott says congressional redistricting will stay on the agenda. The new map under consideration would give Republicans more seats in Congress. Representative Gene Wu leads the minority party in the Texas House.
When we first started this journey, we talked about the fact that eventually they still might pass these maps. But we're going to do everything we can to, one, wake up America.
It seems they've done that, with as many as 8 other Democratic-led states saying they're willing to redraw maps before the 2026 midterms to give their party an advantage. For the Texas Newsroom, I'm Blaze Gainey.
Signs point to a slowdown of the Texas economy as job growth slows, construction declines, and inflation ticks up, according to a report by the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. Monday's report on the Fed's recent Texas Business Outlook surveys was published as President Trump attempts to reshape the U.S. economy through aggressive immigration and trade policies through the first 6 months of his second term in office. Job growth dropped by 1.3% month over month in June, and year-to-date job growth was 1.8%, according to the report. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is taking active steps to prevent New World screwworms from re-entering the U.S. for the first time since the 1960s and 70s. The insect infestation is traveling through Mexico and is now just 370 miles away from the border, according to the USDA's last report. The New World screwworm fly finds any open wounds or orifices to lay their eggs. This can impact wild animals, pets, people, and most commonly cattle. The larvae hatch from their eggs and burrow deeper into the host, nearly unseen seen without close inspection. The larvae cause intense pain and can kill a calf in as short as 3 days. We now go back to Corpus Christi. The school year is well underway. CCISD is completing landscaping for the newly opened Hamlin Middle School. And you might notice sprinklers running in the front of the school despite current city water restrictions. The watering is actually part of a 30-day special exemption granted by the city. City Manager Peter Zanoni explains more to KIII News.
We do allow a variance for new construction, whether it's a commercial facility like Hamlin School or a residential property. You can apply to the city for a 30-day exemption to be able to establish new landscaping.
Zanoni added that the exemption will help the new sod and landscaping take root before restrictions resume. Corpus Christi residents are invited to the latest community input session for the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget. This evening, the city manager, District 5 council member, and city staff will be available to answer questions. Mayor Paulette Guajardo and other city council members may also attend. The next one is from 6 to 7 p.m. at CCPD Police Training Academy at 6902 Yorktown Blvd. Work on waterline improvements at the SPID and Everhart Road intersection will begin toward the end of this month. The project is part of a $29.3 million road reconstruction effort for Everhart Road from SPID to Alameda Street, approved by voters in bonds 2018 and 2020. The upcoming waterline work will cost $3.4 million and replace aging infrastructure throughout the area. Construction is divided into 3 phases, with completion expected by March. Businesses in the construction zone will remain accessible throughout the project. For those traveling northbound on Everhart Road, city officials recommend using Corona or Williams Drives as detours. Southbound travelers on Everhart should expect congestion at the SPID intersection. The Texas Department of Transportation will host 2 public hearings next week to gather public input on a proposal to upgrade a portion of U.S. Highway 77 to interstate standards near Woodsboro and construct a new U.S. 77 roadway east of Refugio. The first hearing is scheduled for August 20th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the Refugio County Expo Center at 245 Fairgrounds Road. A second hearing will follow on August 21st at the same time at the Woodsboro School Cafeteria at 408 Caston Avenue. A virtual public hearing will also be available beginning August 20th at 4:30 p.m. on the TxDOT website. To access the hearing, visit txdot.gov and search for US 77 Woodsboro Refugio hearing. Magic Valley Electric Cooperative customers in the Rio Grande Valley will soon pay more monthly. A notice sent to customers said a rate increase of over 6% will go into effect on October 1st. Communications Manager Juan Hermosillo told KRGV this would be the first rate increase since 2018 and is needed to cover the cost of operations. On average, more than 105,000 customers in the Rio Grande Valley could pay $12 more per month, but it could be more depending on usage. The League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area will host the Women's Equality Day dinner on August 26th at Holiday Inn Airport. The dinner and silent auction is the commemoration by the organization of the historic day in 1920 when American women won the right to vote. The organization's president, Alice Upshaw Hawkins, shared her expectations about the event.
Last year we had the biggest year ever, and so we're looking to top that. We've got people working fast and furious to try to sell our tables and get our ticket sales out there, and so we are looking forward to a really great event. Hopefully we'll break the record again.
Deadline to purchase tickets is this Saturday. For more information, visit lwvcc.clubexpress.com. And following South Texas Midday and the Community Arts Calendar, it'll be KEDT's Community Focus, where in the latest episode, I spoke with Hawkins and Organization Media Relations Director Nick Jimenez about the Women's Equality Day dinner. You can also listen to the interview on Community Focus's podcast series wherever you get your podcasts. As the new school year is well underway, construction continues for Bishop CISD's upcoming Badger Student Performance Center, a project funded through the district's $28 million bond approved last year. Once complete, the indoor facility will be the first of its kind for the district. The Performance Center will feature an 80-yard turf field inside an 11,000 square foot building. Athletic Director Mike Davila told KRIS News the building is designed as a multi-use space open to all students. District officials expect the Performance Center to be completed by January. And on that note, the first day of school is always a big day, and Mission Valley Elementary in Victoria made sure students started the year yesterday with something memorable. A woman at the front entrance greeted students with 2 ponies, a nod to the school's mascot, the Mustangs. Classes officially began at 8 a.m., but celebrations started before then. Staff members lined the entrance, playing music from a speaker, while a Victoria County Sheriff's deputy and the school security guard stood by to greet families. Students arrived with smiles, which complimented parents' mix of excitement and first-day jitters. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. If you missed any stories from today's newscast, you can check out this and previous episodes of South Texas Midday wherever you get your podcast. And coming up after the Community Arts Calendar, it's KEDT Community Focus with Alice Upshaw Hawkins and Nick Jimenez from the League of Women Voters, Corpus Christi. We got to chat about the Women's Equality Day dinner coming up on the 26th, plus we talk about congressional redistricting. I'm Rob Boskamp. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday, and your Community Arts Calendar and more is on the way.